In this exercise, we will be practicing the join operations in pandas. We'll be using data from the classic model database. I linked to the original entry of this database here. This database is used extensively in the data management textbook by Professor Richard Watson. Now there are many queries here, and this page also links to the ERD as well as the SQL to create the database. Once again, I want to note that we're not doing SQL here. We're basically trying to do the same operations in pandas. Now, I have created different text files that exported the content of this database. So each one of these tables is now represented as a CSV file. And what I'm doing in the beginning here, I'm reading each one of these files into a data frame. So there is a customer's data frame, there is an employee data frame. Let's load the package first. And there is basically a data frame for each one of these entities in the database. So we basically want to answer these questions using pandas. Once again, if you have access to a relational database, you can issue SQL queries and get the results fetched back into pandas. That's not what we're doing here. We basically have a bunch of data frames, and we would like to answer these questions using the merging and joining operations in pandas. Okay, so let's take a look at these questions, and I'm not going to cover all of them. The solutions, the posted solutions will contain the solutions for all of these queries. The purpose of this exercise is just to cover a bunch of them and focus more on the conceptual process so that the video doesn't run very long in order to cover all of these different queries. So let's start with a one-to-many relationship. First question is asking us to report the account representative for each customer. If you take a look at the ERD here, you can see that each customer here has an employee associated with it, and that's the account representative. Now, each employee may have multiple customers, so maybe the representative for multiple customers. But the key link in between customers and employee is the employee number matching sales rep employee number. So we basically want to join customers and employee on the condition that sales rep employee number is equal to employee number in employees. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to merge the two data frames, customers and employees. Now obviously this will not work for now because there is no overlapping columns. The two columns have different name, employee number and sales rep employee number. So I need to provide the left on, which is sales rep employee number. Just copy and pasted it here. And right on will be employee number. Now by default this is going to be an inner join, and that's probably what we want. But we don't want probably the whole columns in the data frame, so I'm going to restrict it to probably customer name and employee last name and first name maybe. So I'm going to pull from this data customer name, and then I'm going to pull first name and last name of the employee. Basically give me the sales rep employee for each one of these customers. Let's take a look at the second question. The second question is asking us to report the total payment for one customer here. So that requires joining the two tables, payment and customers. Each customer makes multiple payments, so we basically want to sum the amount of that payment. There are a couple of ways to get to that answer. We can either filter the customer and then join the two tables, or we can join the two tables and filter the customers, or we can join the two tables and do group by and then look for the customers. So let's take a look at the keys here. The customer number is basically the overlap, the key joining customers and payment, and since it's the same column name, it's the easiest case. We can do pd dot merge the two data frames, and it will understand that we're doing the operation on the overlapping columns. So pd.merge customers and payments here is going to do the join operation. Now what we want to do, we want to get the sum of payments for these customers. So I'm going to do group by customer number and then amount and then sum. That basically gives me the sum of amount per customer number, except that I know the name of the customer, so maybe it makes sense to do it with customer name rather than customer numbers. Okay, and I'm interested in this customer, the amount paid by this customer, so I guess then I can do lock, and then the name of the customer is this customer name, and I get to the amount. Let's take a look at the next question. So report the total payments per date, by date. If we take a look at the payments here, we can see that the payment has a date field here, so we want to report the total payments by date. Let's take a look at payments here. This one doesn't have, we probably don't want to join anything here because everything we need is in the payment table. So we can group by payment date and take a look at the amount and do the sum. There's probably a typo here. Okay. So that's the sum of payments per date. And if we take a look at the date, you can see it's on a daily basis. So we're getting the sum on a daily basis. The question is not very clear of whether that's what we need. Probably that's what we're being asked to. But we can improve on that. We can make it on a monthly basis, for instance, if we wish so. So if let's say we want to report this on a monthly basis rather than a daily basis, probably it makes sense to take only the months. So if you take a look at the date, it's now a string. So if we look at the first 4, 5, 6, 7 characters, that is going to give us the month. So the month itself is basically payments, payment date, str, and then to 7. That's going to give us the month, right? So we can store this one as a series called month. And then in our group by, we can do payment date by month dot sum, and that's going to give us the sum of payment per month. Similarly, you can do it per year if you only look at the first 4 characters, so on and so forth. Let's report the products that have not been sold. So the products that have not been sold are the products that exist in the product table, but they don't have any corresponding product code in the order details. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to join products and order details. Now we notice here that the overlapping columns here in between the two tables are product code here. So this is good, so we don't need to provide left on and right on because there is only one overlapping column. However, because we're interested in knowing the products that do not have any order detail, I want to make this join a left join. I want to list all of the products even if there are no corresponding order details. So what I'm going to do at the end, I'm going to make how is left. So that will give me the total data frame. And what's important in here is to notice that some of these products will have a null value here when it comes to the order details. You probably, because it doesn't show the data frame here, we want to look at any product that has a product, an order number, but this order number is null. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this one my data frame 1, and then I'm going to look at data frame 1, order number is null, because that's going to tell me whether there exists an order number or not. Now this one, as you can see here, is a mask, is a series of trues or false, and there should be a true here. If we do any, you can see it's true. So although we don't see it because pandas is just not dumping everything here, there is some true values. So that's my mask. And what I want to do here, I want to use my mask to filter out the series. Well, it turns out there is only one product that doesn't have any order, which is this one. So it's very hard to spot if we're scrolling up and down, but there is such a product that exists in the product table, but there is no corresponding order in the order details table. Let's take a look at the next question. List the amount paid by each customer. So this is something we have done above when we did the Atelier Graphique question. We need to join these two tables, group by customer and then the sum amount. Let's do many-to-many relationship and conclude this video so that it doesn't really run long. Again, all of the solutions are posted so you can take a look at. Let's list the products sold by order date. So basically this is a join operation between products and order details. However, we need also to join it with orders to get order date, right? So we need to join products with order details and join the resulting data frame with orders to get orders, and then we can sort by order date. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to merge products and order details. Obviously here I'm looking for an inner join because I want to sort by existing orders. So that's my first join. The second join is taking this one, this data frame, and joining back again with orders. That will result in the whole data frame, and we are interested in probably product name and order date, which is this column here. Next we want to sort, so I'm going to sort values order date, and those will be the products sorted by their order date.